All right, guys, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. My name is Polzin with 9to5 Sports. Going to be breaking down this Monday Night Football slate between the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals, two teams that are going to be really Super Bowl contenders. This is going to be a very fun game, and Vegas thinks so as well. The over and under for this game is set at 49.5. That'll tell you just how much scoring there is supposed to be in this game. The Bills are favored to win by 1 point as well, so it's expected to be a very close game. That's going to make this kind of difficult to make a strong build in the sense that we're going to be closing out our build with a bad play. That's just the nature of it because, well, these teams are pretty straightforward with their snap shares, okay, which is good for predictability, but given how DraftKings priced this slate, it's going to be difficult to put together some solid builds. It's kind of the exact opposite of the Sunday Night Football game, okay, where it was such soft pricing you can make anything work, whereas this slate, it's difficult because you are going to be fading a stud, okay? So let's go ahead and show you guys what I mean. We'll start off with the Buffalo Bills. So the Bills were kind of annoying with the running back snap counts for a little bit there. You just look at Devin Singletary, looking at the last 4 weeks, 44, 49, 60, and then 59%, which the 60 and 59% that you saw the last 2 weeks is what he had been seeing previously. Okay, that was kind of what he had been seeing the full season. Yeah, the opportunities are slightly down a little bit, but if we know that we're going to get 59 to around 60% of the snaps for Devin Singletary, that is huge. But I don't think we do, okay, because we're not going to see James Cook's snap counts go away. I mean, he does kind of just make some randomly terrible plays, but he has looked good. You know, he has. So the 40 to, let's just say 35% of the snaps that he's been getting the last 4 weeks are going to continue to be there for him. I think that is going to be kind of the norm, but I think what we are going to see and what we have seen is that Nyheim Hines is just not that guy. You're not that guy, pal. 31% of the snaps 4 weeks ago, 17% of the snaps 3 weeks ago, and then 4 and 5. Okay. This continues to happen, on different teams where people and coaches and whatnot see that you just can't find ways to get them onto the field. Although highly talented, it's tough to find ways to get them onto the field. Okay, so we have seen that. And I don't know if that's due to the weather, because it easily could be. The last 2 games that Buffalo had played, very poor weather games in which you wouldn't use someone like Nyheim Hines. And so maybe there's that possibility. Okay, and this is really the first matchup, I think, since he's been with the Bills, that would make sense for him to get snaps. I don't trust it. I'm going to go with what we have seen the last 2 weeks, and that's Devin Singletary and also Zach Moss. And they both look good. Okay. So after that, yeah, Josh Allen, obviously, just a stud. I feel like we should just be locking in Josh Allen. His worst game was 12 DK points against Cleveland. Oh, well, if we can basically be locking in around 20 or so DK points, that's highly appealing to me. And obviously this game is projected to be a high scoring game. So thus Vegas thinks Josh Allen is going to be a great play. So we're just going to play him. Diggs as well. Diggs, it's interesting here. So the last 3 games kind of been poor. Okay, let's just break it down. The Jets, probably the most difficult matchup for fantasy production thus far this season. And this season, Miami game, it was pretty awesome to see him get 10 DK points in that game. Just terrible weather game. And then against Chicago as well. Didn't really need him, but that was also a colder game. And once they had the lead, there was no reason to really keep him on the field. Okay, he actually saw a significantly less snap share than he typically does because they just blew him out. I think he's going to be fine. Okay. I think we can play him. I think we want to play him. So I'm going to go ahead and play him. It's as simple as that. Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis is super interesting. And to me, I keep calling this the George Kittle rule. And I think that's just what I'm going to call it. Where if we're playing Gabe Davis, what are we doing? We're playing him in the captain spot. Because if we're playing him, we're saying that Gabe Davis is going to go off. Okay, we're not saying that he's going to have it okay. Gabe Davis, if he does well, he's going to go off. Thus, you would want him in the captain spot so that when he goes off, you're on him. Okay, that's really the only, I don't want to say the only scenario in which I play Gabe Davis. I just find it difficult to play him, kind of given the price point, and you'll see some of the Bengals players are priced a little bit better. Now, Dawson Knox, I like his price point a little bit more. Dawson Knox has been seeing a decent amount of snaps and also has been highly productive. I would say that this is really what I expected of Dawson Knox. Was more of, I don't want to say 3 touchdowns in a row is what I expected, but I expected him to be around 8 or so touchdowns and getting about 40 yards per game. Okay, getting targeted a decent amount. If we get Dawson Knox playing 80% of the snaps like he has been lately, we'll get him 5+ targets. That's going to be intriguing to me. And on a slate in which we don't have that much value, Dawson Knox might just be that value for us, especially if you are playing someone like Josh Allen. You obviously want to use some of his pass catchers. Dawson Knox would be that guy for me. Then looking at the receiver snap counts, it's very interesting. So Isaiah McKenzie, has seen the snap share go down a little bit, but I still think he is their number 3. And then it's a little bit of Khalil Shakur. And I guess he would be the player if we need a value. Maybe we go with like just a punt play. And I'm saying like, this is what I'm saying, guys. It's like you're fitting all the studs in there and you don't have any salary left over. So you have to play someone. Like I'm fine with him in that scenario. And then Cole Beasley does feel a little bit priced up. He's just not playing that many snaps. So it's tough to really trust him as an option DFS wise. So especially given the fact that you got McKenzie there, like I'd rather go McKenzie, you know. So that's pretty much it for the Bills. Let's go ahead and get into the Bengals. So looking at the Bengals here, very difficult as well. So Joe Burrow obviously been playing really spectacularly lately. Really been, you could say, playing at an MVP level. I would say Patrick Mahomes pretty much has that locked up with Jalen Hurts being injured, but Joe Burrow's been playing extremely well. So the difficult part on the slate is that both the quarterbacks are so priced up that it's tough to fit both of them into a build. And I desperately want to. So like, sure, if Diggs has a bad game, that'd be a way to fade one of them. But we want to be playing two of the Bengals pass catchers as well, at least. So obviously Jamar Chase just been a stud since he's come back from that injury. Every game over 14 DK points, and the last 3 games over 10 targets. Been playing 90% of the snaps. You would say New England, tough matchup. You would say Cleveland via the air, a little bit more difficult. Obviously, they're a ground and pound team. You want to beat them on the ground. Tampa Bay, you know, a decent defense as well. So the fact that he was able to have productive games against them, that's encouraging. Now we get to match up with the Bills, who has been a little bit hit or miss defensively. Obviously, Vegas thinks this is going to be a high-scoring game, so I think we do want to be on Diggs. And then with that, like T. Higgins just been a stud this season as well. Like it's tough not to love both of them. Like I want to play both of them in my builds because they should both be great plays. Like seeing 8 or so targets per game, that is awesome. Obviously already had a great season. He's caught a touchdown pass in 4 out of his last 5 games. And the one he didn't, he was a distraction. And that's the biggest worry with T. Higgins is that he is like one play away from re-aggravating his injury and maybe it hurts you. But on paper, T. Higgins is the correct play, especially when you consider his price point. So I don't know. I've kind of been going with more of T. Higgins and Chase just because they're a little bit cheaper. And I don't hate that. I don't love it. Okay. From there, let's look at the running back situation for the Bengals. It's been pretty obvious that Perine has been the better back in terms of production for the Bengals, but they keep trusting Joe Mixon. So thus we kind of have to play a little bit of Joe Mixon. I will say since his injury though, his snaps have gone down. Okay. 58, 64, 59. Okay. That is significantly different than the 75% of the snaps that he was seeing prior. You know, Perine was basically just a third down only back, whereas now he's kind of filling in more. It's more of Zeke and Pollard type stuff. Okay. Now Perine, the production hasn't been there the last 3 weeks. Okay. But the snaps have been there, 43, 48, and 41. I do wish Perine was priced a little bit cheaper as well. This goes back to it. Like the pricing is done phenomenally in the sense that we're not really getting any free squares, quote unquote, free squares. Okay, we're just having to make good lineup decisions, and that's the tough part. I do want to point out that Trenton Irwin did get a lot of snaps in the previous game, and the games that he has gotten a decent amount of snaps in, there's been a receiver injured. Last week, it was Tyler Boyd coming in and out of the game, okay? That's probably not going to happen. I think Tyler Boyd will still get about 75% of the snaps or so. So, like, naturally, Tyler Boyd's like the one player that I would say is priced lower than he should be. And if you are playing Joe Burrow, it does make sense to try to fit Tyler Boyd in there. And maybe in some situations, you do try to play him in the captain spot. Hope to get lucky. Hope he gets a touchdown and like, I don't know, 6 receptions in a high scoring game. Like that wouldn't be shocking to see them run out of more 11 personnel, maybe even 10 personnel. You know, that wouldn't be too shocking. Hayden Hurst is back from injury, but priced up, so tough to fit him in as well. So difficult in terms of trying to fit all the players in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the captains. So for me, I do think it makes a lot of sense. You know, Gabe Davis, captain or don't play him. Okay, that's kind of the route I'm going. That'd be the route I think you guys should go. T. Higgins, you know, I think is going to be a strong cash consideration play, just priced a little bit too cheaply. Same thing with Tyler Boyd. Like if we're trying to fit in the studs, I don't mind going that route. Same thing with Dawson Knox as well. Like if we're trying to fit in the studs, we have to find some value elsewhere. What I'd be trying to do is capture a touchdown, you know, try to get lucky. Okay. And that's really, I think that's what we have to do with the captain spot, because sure, could Chase, Diggs, Higgins, Burrow, Allen, could they go off? They probably will. Okay. It's tough to really say which one is going to go off. And if they all go off, that doesn't really benefit you too much. Like I would rather have, you know, 4 of those guys in a build and have a decent captain play that scores a touchdown rather than play 3 of the studs or 2 of the studs, you know, by forcing one of them into the captain spot and not being able to get the rest of the studs into a build. So right now, and also like, no, that's it. Like I don't want to go really lower for a captain's play. Okay, that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and get you guys the lineup process. So this is a good example of what I was trying to say. Like I'm getting for the studs on the slate: Josh Allen, Jamar Chase, Diggs, and T. Higgins. Obviously don't like the idea of fading Joe Burrow, but this is a way in which you could get the studs. And then Quentin Morris, plays a decent amount of snaps, trying to get lucky, trying to get that one design play that goes to him. That's all that is as a play. Now let's go ahead and flip it. Let's go and do more of a Bengals focus build. So basically the same approach. Instead, we were going with Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Chase, T. Higgins. The issue with this build is that we're only getting one Bills pass catcher. Okay. And once again, don't love Quentin Morris. I'm just trying to make an educated decision based off of the constraints we have with the lineup prop. Okay. Trying to get luck. And we're seeing that's the issue, is we can't fit all the good plays in there. Like you might be forced into fading a quarterback or a top end receiver play. That's unfortunate. That's kind of the slate though. And that's, like I said, very unfortunate there. Can't play all the studs. It is what it is. Going to be a fun game to watch. Maybe more so it's a game that you want to watch rather than playing DFS wise. I don't like not being able to put out a great build, if that makes sense. And that's somewhat of how I feel about this game. Although I think taking a 0 with a $200 player that has a chance to maybe get a point or two, I don't hate that. At the same time, I don't love it. Maybe come lineup lock, I'll figure out a better lineup path. But as it sits right now, I feel like our hands being forced with how great the pricing was. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give a like and subscribe. That helps me continue to put out more content for you guys. All right, thanks for watching. And as always, let's keep cashing.